pressure low. It'll be grand.
Good morning, folks. Good afternoon and good evening, wherever you may be. It is a good morning from us. We are still wrecked from just January being in our late mid-20s. I'm definitely not 30 yet. But anyway, welcome back to Sure to Be Grand, a podcast by two Irish Egypts who have made it their mission to review movies, TV shows, and eventually maybe games, and give you our unrequested opinions. My name's Daniel. Owen is here too. Say hello, Owen.
Good morning.
And today we're back with episode 5 of WandaVision. Well, Owen, how are you on this God-blessed day?
Nervous now that you said it's God blessed.
Well, I mean, or devil cursed, pick your poison, you know?
Just neither is fine with me, I think.
Just agnostic.
Just a regular,
day.
just a regular layman day, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. So we're back to watching WandaVision this week. After last week being a big moment in the series so far, I think it's fair to say.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
It was a thing.
Yeah. So like we basically kind of were told last week, we know what's up now. In a way, we know that Scarlet is more or less in charge of this weird fabricated world. I mean, it was a theory before, a fairly, probably most likely theory, but now we know it's more or less the truth. And a lot of things were revealed. I'm just gonna at the start say, like, it seems I think we are one of the few people online who had an issue with last week's episode.
Yeah, you're probably right there.
Yeah. But we felt like, they shot their load. All the interesting theory stuff was over now, because we more or less had the big important things, like, who is Vision real? Well, yes, he is, because we see it. It's the body of Vision with a big hole in his head. Is it's the world being controlled by Wanda. Yes, we know it's the world being created by Wanda. And personally, I think Owen and I thought that those are probably the most important things, and now everything else just like bits of like explanation.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like, I don't think we said the whole show was dead or anything. There's obviously still questions to be asked, but the big stuff, the stuff that everybody had spent at three or 4 weeks questioning, was answered too quickly for my liking.
Yeah, but so one of our listeners and friend Kevin, he mentioned, well, there's actually still decent bits of information that are important. Like, for example, are the kids real or not? And why is there this push of the children being grown? There's always this focus. Oh, do you have children by especially Agnes? And it goes on to the character. Who is Agnes? There's loads of theories. I'm not the biggest comic lore fan, but I've heard theories that she's some sort of witch teacher to Scarlet in the comics or something along the lines of that.
I think that's a shot in the dark. There's not a hope that's true. Yeah. For me, she's just a person.
Yeah. So you don't think there's anything going on with her?
No.
Really? Even after today's episode?
Yeah, even after today. I think she's a bit more aware than the other citizens. But like, all the citizens are in some ways aware of what's happening. Yeah. I just think Agnes is just, I don't know, she's just another citizen of Westview who's been brain manipulated.
Yeah, okay. That's fair enough. Actually, what I'll do is we have a few more points from Kevin, but they'll probably actually come up in this podcast as we're going through the plot. So we've now entered the 80s. We've had actually probably my favorite intro so far for these era episodes. It's very much what's a good TV series of the 80s that matches this?
Cheers.
There we go. Cheers. He's
maybe something like that. I don't know. I had like, is it Sanford and Sons or something? That was what I had in my head. It's all that kind of shit, though. It's
I kind of think Bill Cosby probably comes up, which is not great.
Cosby
anymore,
Show? We
but-
can't.
No, we can't.
Don't compare it to
no.
that.
No, yeah, it's exactly like the Cosby Show, like beat for beat, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. Okay. And they're exhausted parents. The children have been crying for a few days. They haven't slept, and Vision and Wanda just kind of want them to go sleep, and which is when Agnes comes in the very sort of 80s. Oh, I'm just about to go off to yoga. And I heard that you had some trouble with your kids. She keeps on appearing whenever basically the children are in trouble in some way, or there's something related to children. She seems to appear, and she says, "Oh, look, I have a few tricks up my sleeve." And she starts rocking, like she's about to start rocking the kids' sleep when like Vision goes like, "Haha, maybe don't go near the children." Haha, because he's like all like germ phobic and all this kind of stuff. When Agnes only goes like, all right, she breaks character and says, yeah, do you want to take this from the top? Like it's a scene for her, like she's ready to go back, which is interesting because all the other characters seem to be aware that they're being manipulated, but Agnes seems to be okay with it, I guess. Like she's being part of the illusion that Wanda's making, but she's playing along.
I mean, I wouldn't say she's okay with it. We know from previous episodes that she's terrified of Wanda.
Okay, but why does she keep on coming in to help Wanda then?
Because Wanda, that's the script.
Okay,
She's the nosy neighbor in the sitcom that comes in.
Yeah, but there's a difference between being like brainwashed and walking like an automaton, and like saying, "Okay, let's do this from the start again." Like she,
yeah,
it's not,
I said she's
yeah.
she's more aware than a lot of the other
yeah, but
people.
she's playing along more aware, like
because she's terrified of Wanda.
I don't know. Okay, fair enough. I think there's more to it than that, but fair enough. Yeah. And Vision is completely freaked out by this. It's like it suddenly starts coming back to him that the last few days have been reality bending. Like he's starting to become aware that there is more to this than meets the eye. Aha, reference to our next episode of Transform. Anyway, so eventually they could just kind of let it drop, and Agnes is rocking the baby to sleep, and everything's quiet. And look, Vision suddenly goes, "Oh my God, babies are asleep," and they walk up to the bed, look down, and the babies are gone. And sure enough, we hear Mommy, Daddy, and the two boys, non-identical twins, are now about what I'd say about 7 years old.
They're 5, I think. 5
Okay,
or
fair
6.
enough.
I'm assuming that because of they show a birthday cake for a birthday thing for them in the intro, and there's 5. They have number 5, 1, 2, 3, 4,
That's
5.
right. The 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's very correct. And
they're pretty grown up
again,
5-year-olds. To be fair,
yeah,
I
pretty
think.
grown. Yeah, you see, that's why I probably said they were 7. They do look more like they're 7 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we get a neat intro. I already mentioned that to the 80s. It's gorgeous. It feels. This is some really great scenes of Vision growing up as a baby, a little boy, him dressed up as Santa Claus to be a dad. It was done really, really well. Like to show like time has passed.
Mm-hmm.
And then we probably go to what's Cosby's and I's least favorite part. Back into the real world.
We cut from the best things the show does to I forgot.
Generic Marvel.
I forgot this is a fucking Captain America thing. Like
Yeah.
cool, yeah, great. Monica Rambeau is here and she's talking about nonsense. Great, cool.
Yeah, so Monica Rambeau is in a medic tent and she's getting like blood tests, and she's asked where her uniform is at one stage, which is interesting because she went into their dressed in her like uniform or suit, whatever she was wearing, and the moment and obviously her clothes were changed to match that environment. but when she comes back out, she's instantly saying, "Where's my uniform? Where's my uniform? Where are my clothes?" Which is, like from a writing point of view, probably just a reference saying, "This is going to be important in about 5 minutes. Don't worry about it."
Yeah, this is gonna come back up, okay?
Yeah,
This is not a. This is Chekhov's gun here. All right, I'm gonna shoot the thing.
Blatantly, because it's really weird, because it's all like, "Oh, it's so good to have you back. Oh, good to see you again. Where's my uniform?"
Like
What?
the thing in that scene that didn't kind of come up again though was they were doing like brain scans and stuff on Monica, and they were all blank.
Yes.
They did like a CT scanner, and they took bloods or something, and the doctor that's there says, "I'm gonna have to do those again. There's nothing on them. There's nothing here." And Monica's like, "No, I'm getting out of here. I'm done with all this hospital stuff, I guess."
Didn't they scan the clothes as well? And it's just, there's nothing there as well. But then we'll get to that in a little bit. Yeah. So they go into, a team meeting, and we have, what's the FBI guy's name again? The Dick. Do we even care enough to know his name?
You mean the head of sword?
Oh, head of sword. Sorry, yes. I
was
mean,
like,
look, to be fair, that's basically what they're being.
Call Agent Wu a dickhead.
No, not Agent Wu. Agent Wu is a lovely, lovely.
Yeah,
but
whose presence I still question in this whole operation, but he's here.
I mean, look, they just needed another movie character. They went, okay, Kat Dennings. Oh, we need another C-list character from the Marvel movies. Let's choose a Marvel movie that's not too big. Okay, yeah, Ant-Man. That's it. We'll get him from there too. Yeah. But yeah, so. And who's the guy from Sword then? The head guy in Sword? Do you remember his name at all?
Nope.
This is a test, because like I could easily go online now and tell you the name, but
I don't know. I don't think I know his name. Just
Yeah.
call him the director or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Whatever.
like the director. Okay, and the director is making a point that Scarlet is a terrorist, which, you could first argue like. So he says she's a terrorist because we go through Rambo's brief where he talk how it's terrifying to be taken over by her magic, or her hex, as they call it. And she makes, but there was part of me saying, yeah, but just because something's terrifying doesn't make someone a terrorist. It's a political push. And sure enough, Rambo in the very next moment jumps back like, well, there's nothing political involved here, like, and there's no like Scarlet Vision didn't plan this ahead of time. Also, just as a quick, what's wrong?
You call her Scarlet Vision.
Scarlet Vision. I mean, they're married now. That's a family name, okay?
Vision's name is Vision.
Yeah, Vision. It's like Mario.
I think Vision. No, I think Vision is his second name. His name is Jarvis Vision.
Oh, I thought you were going to say the.
Oh,
his first name's
the Jarvis the Vision.
That's his wrestler name.
Yeah,
Jarvis the Vision.
Jarvis the Vision.
We also get the big obvious reference that I didn't cop, is that no one has called Wanda Scarlet Vision yet. Again, what am I doing? Scarlet Witch. It's Scarlet Witch. Yeah, no one has mentioned, which, to be fair, I was blindsided by that. I didn't realize that no one has.
No, she doesn't have a code name in any of the Marvel movies. She's just Wanda, Wanda Maximoff. Like, they didn't call Pietro, wasn't Quicksilver either. He was just Pietro Maximoff. That's
mad. It's weird how like your perception changes if you know the behind the stuff.
Yeah, it's kind of like most of any Marvel character in this who has like a Marvel name in the MCU has given it to themselves.
Yeah.
They're like, I like Peter Parker decided to call himself Spider-Man. Tony Stark decided to call himself. Well, no, Tony Stark was the only one where I think the media called him Iron Man. Yeah. Or they called him the Iron Man, and he was like, yeah, I'm Iron Man. The rest,
Captain
like Thor,
America was probably made by media.
Thor is just his name. Captain America was a propaganda tool for the US military, so
yeah, wasn't it?
Like,
to be fair, they were fighting weird demon Nazis, so in this, I understand propaganda this way anyway.
Yeah, well, they weren't at first though. He was just a recruitment tool for the military. He just stood on stages and stuff.
Yeah, he did.
Anyway, yeah.
Do the
it's a different thing. I think it's something. Something I mentioned before as well is that all that kind of stuff of like secret identities and like like superheroes living dual lives as regular citizens is not really a thing in the MCU.
No.
They haven't really done it. The only one who ever attempted
maybe?
it, Hawkeye was more because he's like a secret agent, so he just like kept his family's secret to protect them.
Yeah,
it wasn't
his private
him.
life is secret, like
Yeah, but he wasn't.
secret identity.
Who he wasn't secret.
No,
like everybody knew his name and who he was. The only one who really the only one who ever really kept like tried to keep the fact that they were an Avenger or anything secret was Spider-Man.
Yeah,
and that's probably because he's 16.
Yeah.
But no, that's kind of that's gone as well after the last movie. But yeah, it's just interesting
as well.
Yeah.
Not ruined it, like destroyed that sort of idea.
They took it away. I mean, like almost. Well, it took 2 movies, but they got
to be fair,
like,
they did it in the best way possible. James Jones.
They did.
Jameson
yeah, it's the best cameo in any Marvel movie ever.
Genuinely, like you cannot find a better cameo except Stan Lee. All this kind of stuff.
Oh, this was better than any of Stan Lee's
come on,
cameos, man.
Have a little bit of respect.
I didn't like when they first were doing Stan Lee cameos in every Marvel movie. I didn't care.
Okay.
I didn't know who he was when I was like watching the Sam Raimi Spider-Man when I was like 10.
He was just a guy like kept showing up.
I didn't know. I didn't understand it. I don't think I even copped that. Oh, hey, that guy had a brief 10-second scene in the previous Spider-Man. I was just like, oh, what's with this guy?
Well, imagine you in the cinema as a 11-year-old and a notebook on. Oh, interesting. He showed up again.
And then it just became a thing that they were like, okay, we have to do a really fun Stan Lee cameo. And then you're like, yeah, what's the Stan Lee cameo going to be? And now you're like, can't Jack Kirby? Do you want to throw something in there for him? I know he's dead, but give him. Yeah. Anyway,
I think you have a few Kirby references, but anyway, look. So they have that entire meeting where they're arguing whether Wanda is a terrorist or not. We now suddenly get the information that Wanda broke into Sword's headquarters and to get Vision's body. Something they could probably brought up beforehand to her.
I didn't get this at all. Like your man is just like, I've finally been given clearance to show everybody working on this footage that we have, and it's Wanda breaking into Sword headquarters at what must have just been like a month ago or something.
Yeah,
like kicking in doors and using her powers to subdue people and stealing Vision's corpse. And you're like, dude, you had this information all this time? Why are
Don't you think this might have been important?
Like, why are you why were you like, oh, we need to know what's going on? Why were you questioning anything that was happening? Being like, we need to know why Wanda's doing this. Like, you have video evidence that she's stolen the corpse of Vision, and now you're like, yeah, it was just odd. Like that seemed like something that should have been shared with the group, to be honest.
We return then back into the much better part of the TV show, where the boys are hiding the fact that they found a dog outside from Wanda, and it's it's a sitcom thing. The mother's like, "Oh no, we can't do this. This is not. You're not old enough," and the kids just decide to age themselves up to 10 years old to be old enough, which is something they apparently can do at will. It's not even a thematic change. They choose
they like look at each other and kind of smirk and then visibly age before us.
Yeah, exactly. And Agnes comes in again and she has a dog house now because she apparently heard that they have a dog literally seconds after they got the dog. And Vision comes in and it makes a point like, how did she know this? And then Wanda creates a dog collar right in front of Agnes, and Vision's like, "Why are you showing everyone your abilities? Like, what's going on here? We decided to keep it secret." And she's like, "Hey, maybe it's time to get past that, and hey, maybe you can reveal yourself." And you can see Vision is clearly the only character in this town who has almost complete self-control. He's been deluded a little bit, and his memories have been hidden and all that kind of stuff. But Vision is very much Vision.
You get the sense that the only reason Vision was completely playing along throughout the first while was because he didn't remember anything else from before. He thought this was life. He thought that this was his reality. And now, I guess maybe because his brain isn't human, that like
Yeah.
Wanda can't control him fully or stuff. So he's
it's
kind
like
of
he has to be programmed to believe, and she's not that good of a programmer.
yeah. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
And so now he's been slowly like going, well, this doesn't make sense. Like, what's going on here, really? And this is kind of comes to a slight head in this episode.
I think it's okay. I keep forgetting this is terrible because we're doing podcasts on it, but Vision's original stone was the Mind Stone.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe that has something to do with it. It's that control over the mind, even though he doesn't have it anymore. The fact that he was born of it in some ways is because we see him return back to work, and he goes to his friend who's just quipping about, oh, look at this electronic mail we got, and it's a mail from the outside world, because they realized that the only things that get changed when you're going into this world are things that have to be changed to fit the era. So emails are completely fine. They even send in a drone because it's a drone from the 80s, so it doesn't automatically get filtered or changed.
The drone from the 80s that they sent in looked
very modern,
way more high tech than the little helicopter she sent in the last episode.
I was pretty impressed with
I was like
this from the 80s. I went, is it?
I thought
do they have those?
Yeah, she was like, oh, we send in something that doesn't have to be changed, and you see this super high tech modern drone flying in, and your man's like, I know this is 80s technology, but can you clear up the image? And you're like, that doesn't. They had what? What?
Yeah, it was just like, I mean, look. To be fair, we're in a universe where there's helicarrier, so maybe that is 80s stuff.
Yeah,
like,
it's
it's a bit of a cop out, but yeah. But yeah, he's at work, and it's a message saying like there's radiation things happening, and the what's the name again? Wanda Maximoff, and it says the Maximoff stability or something along the lines of that was in the email. Anomaly, right? And for some reason, Vision kind of looks at the email and then looks at his friend and just hides to, like, he touches the computer with his fingers and the screen goes off, and then he decides to touch his fingers against his friend's head and basically releases him from this hex, which is obviously probably the hexagon reference that we've had this whole time. And his friend suddenly breaks down to his real personality. I need to, call my family. And my sister, she was looking after our mother. Like, this person's very terrified, very scared. What's going on? And he's clearly breaking down because in Vision, is like, oh God, everyone's being mind controlled. And Vision, probably for the right reasons, decides to reapply the hex to him or take away the immunity to it. And he goes straight back to, hey, Vision, you're the funny guy around the ha ha ha, that kind of stuff, right? So now we know that Vision even has some control over this mind manipulative stuff in this world.
Yeah, the Mind Stone is gone, but he appears to still have the same powers he had previously.
I mean, I guess it kind of works the same way as Captain Marvel. Like, she got her powers from one of the stones, so he got his powers from one stone. So even though they don't have him, they still have some inherent power of those, which I think is fair enough. Like, so we go to the drone, and the drones come into towards Wanda, and at first they just want to talk to her, and on this black and white screen, her eyes start glowing red. Of course they do. And the Mr. Director decides to shoot a missile at her, and we suddenly look at all the alarms start going off, things are going mad, and we get to see a whole bunch of soldiers outside of this massive, field. It's been rippling, and Wanda comes through. So she comes through and she throws the drone at the director and says, "Stay away from my world." And we see Rambo trying to make a say, like, "Look, I'm on your side. Look, I helped you, bring your children into the world. You must have understood some subconscious level that I'm with you and I would help." And that's the moment when Wanda starts talking into a Russian Eastern European like accent again.
Sokovian,
okay. Yeah, I'm sorry. Yes, her Sokovian accent. And I didn't realize how much I missed it. I really like that accent for some reason.
I don't think I missed the accent. It's just it feels good that Marvel maybe have been like, okay, everybody's wondering why where her accent went, and maybe now there's a reason. Maybe she was purposefully speaking without the accent to blend in or something.
I 100%.
So it's kind of, it's not like they're kind of now going, it wasn't an oversight, guys. All right.
Yeah.
She didn't just, Elizabeth Olsen didn't just like forget to do her accent for 2 movies. All right. We knew what we were doing, which I kind of liked.
Kevin actually brings something interesting in, and it's a theory that I've kind of been believing as well, is that she is creating these sort of 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s worlds based on probably what she watched as a kid in Soviet. Like a lot of people at the time living in the Eastern Europe bloc would have watched old American sitcom shows that were on syndicates, like they suddenly were released, and they'd be watching older TV shows and thinking that's what the American life is. That's what an ideal family is. And that's why we're getting this sort of interpretation of her idyllic world. You know, and I think that's probably the point of the show. I think that's probably the case.
Yeah. There's probably some merit in that.
Yeah. But yeah, so Wanda makes it clear that she wants them to fuck off, basically. Like, leave her world alone, and she'll leave our world alone.
She tells them that this is their one and only warning. That
Yeah.
And her words, I think, that she uses are, "I have what I want now, and nobody's ever going to take it from me again."
Yes. So she returns back into the fantastical world that she has made, and I believe Vision. So the dog has passed away. It ate some sort of flowers from the neighbor of Agnes.
Yeah, it ate some leaves that were poisonous to it from one
Which
of
is
Agnes's
actually,
bushes.
Just to make clear, that's actually a very serious thing. And do make sure if you ever get a dog that none of your plants outside are poisonous to them. But just letting you know we care about your dogs. Anyway, the boys are obviously sad, and they start asking their mother to bring the dog back because family is forever. You know, yeah.
And they comment that they're like, "Oh, but Mom, you can fix anything. You can fix this. You can bring him back," kind of thing.
Yeah.
And Agnes is like, "You can do that?" Like that's they're all kind of like. The boys seem. Part of me thinks that the boys know what's happening.
Yeah, no, 100%. Yeah,
because they're like, "You can fix this," implying that you did it for Dad. You brought him back from the dead. You can do this. You can bring people back from the dead. Duh.
Yeah.
Come on, Mom. And she's kind of like, She gives them a big speech about how, like, even though some things are really sad, you have to deal with them. You can't just like.
Which is rich coming from her.
Yeah, that's the whole like hypocrisy of this speech that she gives, because the boys say that when she's like, "I can't fix this, I can't bring him back, you have to deal with it," they're like about to age themselves beyond.
Yeah, they're nodding.
Like they're gonna like age up again so that the feelings are removed and they don't have to deal with them anymore. And Wanda's like, "No, don't do that. You have to live with this. You have to deal with your sadness, and you can't just like make everything go away when you wanted to," kind of thing. And you're kind of sitting here going, "Wanda, what the fuck is wrong with you? What are you talking about, Wanda?"
Which makes me think, yes, she knows she's in control of this world. She is. But I still think there's another element playing with her. Something has triggered her to do this, I think.
Well, I don't know. I mean, Vision says that they have Wanda and Vision finally have their argument after this, because Vision,
which definitely wasn't spoiled by just every trailer.
I mean, wasn't. That's gonna but Vision is kind of finally like, "Wanda, I spoke to Norm. He told me that you're doing this, and like it's hurting him, Wanda. You're controlling all these people, and it's hurting them. And I'm not like them. You can't control me." And Wanda just kind of looks at him and says, "Can't I?" And Vision
And then the
immediately,
credits start rolling.
Vision like immediately stops talking. He just puts his head down, and it's like,
Yeah.
ooh, is Vision. But then they kind of, it's like they're about to fight. Vision gets visibly angry for the first time that he's like, Wanda, I can't, why are you doing this? You're hurting all these people, and like, I can't remember anything, and why are you doing this to me? And I don't remember I don't know
he's
who
aware
I am.
now.
And
he's completely
he's like,
self-aware.
I don't know who I am. I have no memories prior to Westview, and what's outside Westview, and all this kind of stuff. And Wanda's like, she tells him that she's like, you just have to trust me. Like,
we did this for us.
She's like, I'm doing this for us. But then she also says, you really think I'm capable of controlling thousands of people and like looking at making sure they all go to their jobs, making sure everybody goes on dentist? Like, do you really think I can do all of this? And Vision is kind of like,
that's what makes me think.
Vision says, what's he say at one point? He says, I hope and I think that this started subconsciously, and you've only recently realized that you're the one doing it.
Yeah.
Which could be a thing as well, that because there's an element to the episode as well where the outside sword people comment that Wanda has never displayed these kind of powers before. Yeah. When we first met her, they're like, she had like telekinetic abilities, and she can make people see things, but she couldn't physically manipulate objects in reality.
She could make you see things, but she couldn't actually
she couldn't physically change something, but now she can, because they show this by the fact that the 70s outfit that Monica was wearing when she left is still a 70s outfit, and when she scans it, it's like her pants are made from the Kevlar bodysuit that she was wearing when she went in. So Wanda has physically changed one item into another state.
Yeah. So she's rewriting reality, like.
Yeah, essentially, yeah.
And then
the big cameo.
The big cameo that definitely no one saw coming, and definitely wasn't very much like.
No, I'll be honest. I'll be honest. I saw the character coming. I think we said it in like episode 1, like how long before Quicksilver turns up. I didn't think it was going to be Evan Peters.
Yeah,
I thought it was going to be Aaron Taylor Johnson.
Yeah,
the Quicksilver from this world.
Yeah,
which is kind of, they do another meta thing as well, where Darcy, when she sees Evan Peters arrive, and she says, "Oh, she recast Pietro," kind of thing, which is kind of what everybody else is thinking, I guess. Yeah, but it's Evan Peters turns up at the end, and he's like,
this is what we can talk about now, because you think this is just a nice little nod reference. You don't think this is actually related to the Quicksilver from X-Men?
I highly doubt this is actually Pietro from an alternate universe that's just arrived. Like, I don't think this is actually Quicksilver. It's just some guy that Wanda has maybe subconsciously even made to appear to be her brother. Because she doesn't even recognize him. She doesn't recognize him at first. Even she's kind of staring at him for a minute, going like, and he says, "Hey, can't your brother get a hug or something?"
Brilliant accent, by the way.
Can't your long lost brother get a hug? And he's like, she's kind of like, Pietro, as in like, is that
hey,
you?
who's this popsicle?
Yeah, he's right. I don't know what. Well, everything we've watched lately has had a character like who speaks like that. Like, hey, who's the popsicle?
Yeah. Do you think he's going to have a moment where he'll start speaking in the thick Eastern European accent?
I don't know, to be honest.
Yeah, so you don't think, but I think a lot of people disagree with you. I think a lot of people hope that this is how they're going to introduce the multiverse and X-Men going to come in. And I'm kind of on your side on this. I don't think they're going to introduce the X-Men through, but a TV show. Don't get me wrong, a very good TV show. A lot of people like it. But they're not going to experiment that far to establish actual world realities.
No, they're I still think, because I talked about this maybe 2 episodes ago, I still think the multiversal stuff is going to come up somewhere in this.
Yeah.
Solely because we know Wanda is going to be in the next Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Which is why a lot of people thought, when they overblew the cameo and said it was going to be massive, and it was going to be like Luke Skywalker in the dark, and you're like, come on, dude, it's just Quicksilver. Everybody knew.
I mean, it's a nice ref.
It's
Like,
cool,
it's a
but,
nice
like, yeah,
one, come
it's
on.
not that big. Like, they oversold
Yeah.
it a bit, but
Yeah.
a lot of people thought, oh, it's going to be Doctor Strange. Doctor Strange is going to come up to like see what's going on, and that's how Wanda's going to be brought into that movie. I still think, like, manipulating reality and that multiversal sort of stuff is going to come up by the end of this.
Yeah.
I really don't think they're not going to be like, yeah, I'm your brother from an alternate reality where mutants exist, and
and here's Magneto, and here's Xavier, and here are all my X-Men.
Like, they're just gonna do like the Deadpool 2 scene where all the X-Men are like hiding behind the door in one room. Like, Wanda's just gonna like open a reality door, and all the X-Men just turn and look and go, "Hey guys," and that's it.
Oh wow, Wolverine! They brought you back again.
Hugh Jackman, you're here again. I can't get away.
Oh, you know what would blow people's mind if there was Quicksilver, like a brother, but it was played by Hugh Jackman. Now that would have messed up people.
Hugh Jackman's Quicksilver.
He said, "Look, I don't want to come back as Wolverine. Stop asking me." Okay, but what if you come back as Quicksilver?
Yeah, what if you're a totally different guy? You mean Quicksilver?
God damn it,
the guy that was too strong for the movie, so you had to take him out of it? Yes, I'll do it.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's where we are at the moment. I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing what they're going to do with Quicksilver. If it is even going to be Quicksilver with powers, to be honest. It might just be a mortal version of her brother, you know?
Well, see, here's the thing. I don't know if there was like an audio thing happening right prior to him arriving and knocking on the door. Like, I thought it sounded like a plane landing or something.
No, I think I thought that was going to happen when the drone first arrived, because we heard the line in. I was like, oh, here we go, because it was like super speed sound.
But it was there again, I think, when Wanda and Vision were like sitting on the couch talking right before he knocked on the door, and she's like, I didn't do that. Kind of.
Oh, yeah, I was thinking, do you think Vision and Wanda knew what happened in that moment when he knocked on the door before even putting, because it is when she says, I didn't do that, I promise. Like, was she in some way aware that it might be her brother, because they literally were starting to talk about him?
Maybe, yeah. I think Wanda. I think Wanda's still new to all of this manipulating reality stuff. Yeah. So there's definitely some of it's happening without her realizing it. There's also just an interesting thing that we skimmed over. Her powers didn't work on the kids.
It didn't. No.
She kept trying to like snap her fingers and make them be asleep, and it wouldn't work.
Yeah, and she was like, "This is not funny."
Yeah. So I don't know.
Hey, I just realized something. Quicksilver we see is from the 80s, from the X-Men during the 80s movies. You know, the X-Men movies that were set in the 80s, and this show was in the 80s as well.
Is he?
I think so, yeah. It's like the Cold War's happening, isn't it?
No, well, we first meet him in the 70s, isn't it?
Yeah, but we see him is in the 80s, I think.
God, what's the name of that movie? Days of Future Past, yes, because it's like the Kennedy assassination or whatever.
Yeah. But I think maybe that's a reference as well.
No, that would be the 60s then.
Huh.
It was the Kennedy
Hey,
stuff.
folks, you let us know, eh? Remind us what happened next one.
Once again,
we don't know.
As we said in our New Mutants thing, how can we be expected to understand the X-Men timeline when they don't understand it themselves?
Yeah. You know, it's roughly the 60s, 80s, 90s, 2000s, 10s, or 2020, or 2030, who knows?
It could be any time. Who gives a shit?
Yeah. Maybe this all happened like in the year 3000, and it was just aesthetically back in the 80s. Who knows?
This is a busted music video. That's what I think.
That's it. Yeah. Very much that. Any more thoughts on this episode?
Any more thoughts?
It could mean?
Not particularly on this episode. On the show as a whole, I think that, look, I think as what always happens when I critically review something and I'm not 100% like, this was amazing, a lot of people instantly assume that that means I hate it.
No.
I'd still really like the show. All right.
Yeah.
I was a little bit bummed last week that they revealed so much so quickly. But there's still a lot to like. You know, it's not like
There is.
we're still sitting here going, "Oh, what does this mean? What does that mean?" It's not like there's nothing left to question. I just thought they could have left it a bit longer to reveal.
Also, like a big strength of this are the performances of the two leads. Like they are having a great time,
Yeah,
and it shows. Like,
yeah, I'm really happy that both of them have gotten to explore these characters a little bit more and actually show different sides to them and do some acting rather than just I'm Vision, I float in the sky and have an accent. Hey, I'm Scarlet Witch. I make weird hand gestures and faces.
I also have an accent.
Only
Sometimes.
sometimes. But that's like all they did for the first forever. So
And the thing is, I like both characters despite that. I just wanted more from them, you know, because I really like Vision, you know. But yeah, do you think any of this is going to be mentioned or referenced in the Doctor Strange movie?
any of this, I mean,
any of the show in general?
solely by the fact that Wanda is going to be in that movie, probably.
Yeah, but really,
briefly.
I'd
don't
be
think it's going to
interested
like directly lead into the plot of Doctor Strange. I don't think it's going to be that
No.
connected, but somebody's going to mention Westview or something, and Wanda's going to look at them and go, "Ugh." I don't know, something. unless Wanda's the villain in Doctor Strange.
Could be. Maybe this is like the build up because we see her like, oh, the arguments coming up like, is she a terrorist or is she just, you know, emotionally hurt? And she's maybe this is the build up to like, oh wait, no, maybe she is like the terrorist.
I don't know. You never know. People
person.
still think that this is like leading towards a House of M type storyline, but
Imagine if she just in the end killed Vision, like again, like truly killed him.
well, look,
like,
to me that's the biggest question left to answer. How is Vision alive, and how much is he actually still there? Like, what's going on there is the only thing I'm really kind of like questioning still. The rest of it,
I think she's willingly keeping him alive. Like she's literally stepping in for the minds, keeping him running. I think he's still damaged, as we saw as that little cutaway scene in the last episode. I think he's like his body's dead, but like his circuits are still working, and she's making up instead of the Mind Stone.
Yeah, probably.
You know,
I hope it's
so
something
maybe she
more
doesn't even have to
interesting there.
fight him. Maybe she just goes like, hands off, and he drops. You know,
I kind of hope it's something more interesting than that, to be honest.
but maybe that's the point. Maybe it'll build up to this whole big massive fight, and then she just like, I don't care anymore, and she just clicks, and he breaks down. Or maybe we'll have one of those things where, you know, she clicks and he breaks down, and then he kind of reboots himself. Because the whole thing in Infinity War was that they were very close to having the Mind Stone be taken out, so maybe just needed time to like become independent of the stone. I hope so, because I want Vision back in the future. I'd love to see him in a few more movies.
Would you?
Yeah, I like Vision.
Cool.
Yeah, and again, it's probably the whole sophisticated English man thing that I seem to be drawn to, oddly.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I like Vision. I'd like to see him in I'd love a Vision movie. I don't think we'll get it after this show, but I'd love one. But yeah, I think that's it from me for today, unless you have anything to add.
No, nothing major. We're back again for. I mean, there's only 3 episodes left now.
4 episodes, 9 episodes altogether.
It's 9 episodes.
Yeah, I checked this time on IMDb.
Okay, I'm fully sure you told me 2 hours ago there's 8 episodes, and we kept
No, because I kept on referencing that we made this joke that there was either 8 or 12 episodes the week before, and it was like we kept on getting it wrong. It's actually 9.
It's 9 episodes, but are they taking a break?
Oh God, no! Please, no! Just fucking finish the fucking thing.
They might, man. You never know.
They might, yeah. But yeah, if that's it from you, this is it from me. Folks, like, comment, subscribe to our social medias and any platform we're streaming the podcast to. We really, really appreciate feedback. We love people come back at us, giving us facts and correcting us legitimately. It means that we're not in our own little bubble. And yeah, that's it from me. And that's it from Owen. Say bye, Owen.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Asherlo.